I have a new addition. October 10th, last night, I finished sewing all the hexagons on. And let's see, what else? I double-faced the edges. It would appear a little bit like lace. And anyway, I'm going to put it up, see how it works, see how I did. This is for the headboard, but I'm going to put it here so I can talk about it with you. I'm so excited. You know, we have something new in the house. We have something new in the house, you know. That's Velcro. That's the sound of Velcro. That was for my convenience. Nice. Maybe that to just covers the height of the mattress. I am satisfied. I might, now that it's up, I might do a little just stretching, you know. I could iron it. I think letting this fall into place and maybe slightly stretching with its own weight is sufficient presentation for me. I do like the organic nature of using shantung silk. This would be my first project using silk, and I selected shantung. It has slubs in it and natural variation. It does not have a right or wrong side, so either side can be used and it looks right. You may or may not know, but silk is from a worm that eats the leaves of a mulberry bush. I'm pretty sure, okay? Check my commentary, but I'm pretty darn sure that a silkworm is from, they eat at the mulberry bush. Anyway, silk is prized because it's breathable, it's strong, and it takes dye, okay, very well. You can get a high satiety value, okay, intense color saturation with silk. On this, say the gold I selected is according to my faux finishing instruction would be called a rich gold. You've got different types of gold. Say in faux finishing, you know, you might have, I don't know, you know, this is shantung lemon, but you might call that a new gold. All right, when you're faux finishing, making things look like they come from a different era, there are different types of golds, just like in graphic design, there's different types of black and a different recipe for achieving black. Your CYMK, RGB, red, green, blue, or CYMK, what is C? Is it cerise? I can't remember. You can look that up too. Anyway, each letter is a color, and when you're doing graphic design, you can pick the percentage. Like I want X amount of blue, X amount of green, X amount of yellow to form this rich black. Okay, so there's a rich black recipe as well in graphic printing. When I'm working with the shantung, it's got two colors of thread. See this light gold, and then this darker. So you're talking about one is woven warp and one is woven weft. Warp is the length, weft is side to side, and it's using these two colors of thread that I'm able to produce something that's monotone, one color, but a lot of variation depending on how I spin it or turn it and how it captures the lights. Okay, how the light falls on it depending on how I angle the piece. Now, I thought of doing this because I studied Roman Byzantine mosaics, and this looks a lot like a mosaic. And in Roman Byzantine mosaics, gold signified religion, spirituality, okay? So, in Roman Byzantine mosaics, the mosaics did not use grout. What they did is they used a leaded glass. A leaded glass, again, can have high saturated color value. And you use a hammer, and you make smalty, and on the smalty you make tessera, which are pieces. And so you basically cut the leaded glass, all right? This is honeyhound. I was in Italy and learned Roman Byzantine mosaic technique. Anyway, this is just leaded glass. And at the time of Roman Byzantine, they didn't have electricity, so when they made these pictures, these paintings, much like a panorama, if you were in the Roman Byzantine era of Italy, which they have preserved, you'll see the churches and you'll see big paintings, okay, up high. You'll see the gold aura of royalty, of spiritual people, okay. Renaissance funded patrons, to pay for this service of being in the position of patronage of God, okay? That's how your Renaissance art came about. And they didn't have electricity, they had torches, all right? And so how you pushed the tessera in and angled it, side to side, up and down, when you had the torches would basically light and flick off the surface, so it made the painting look animated. It made it look as if it were moving, okay, via the torchlight and the different facets of the tessera. Features. I have used some wool and some polyester, so some of these are filled. So there's a slight little surface. There's a coming forward, okay, and both in the white and I'll find like a gold. So they're sprinkled throughout, turned different colors. So I can see at least 3 distinct colors of the gold itself, and the white is shiny and it's matte. You'll notice there's a hole here, okay? The hole is what reflects the color behind it, okay? The wall, which is going to be the wall, you know. I didn't finish down here. I thought it was sufficient to get it to the mattress line. And what I did here, pros and cons. I started cutting this, and then I thought, you know, if I make a snip into the selvage edge, okay, which doesn't fray, because your weft goes from side to side, so this side doesn't fray, and I didn't turn it, okay, I left it selvage. I started making a snip, and then I started tearing, and I produced runs. See that? That's not a natural flaw. That's because I got a run and it teased a thread out, okay? And then there's a reveal of the threads that are actually being used. So I'm working with what I have, and I decided it's fine. It's really organic. This is what I have. I put the nicer ones up here, and I included the slubs. The slubs sometimes can look like a flaw unless you know. This came from a worm's bum, okay? And slubs is part of shantung, silk, okay? It's a quality of its character, okay? But down here, when I got to the end, and I'm like, do I want to order more silk or not so that I can, you know, so I don't have to use some of them that I run? I decided no. So some of these have runs. They have runs in them down here. That's where I finished. And I'm really okay with that. It's a process, right? And what else did I do? Just for variation, I put a white here. So a white, gold, white. And I did the same on the other side. White, gold, white. And it's really about where we lead in, okay? If I were to give it a spiritual meta, we build from the bottom up, okay? Lead in, feel, and fill. F-I-L-L. And file, if you will, F-I''L', E-D. Perfect, pill, pile, and filed. Let me show you. To pill, you're pilling with the same fabric, okay? Wool pills a lot, okay? I have a wool Pendleton silver bark quaking aspen blanket. It pills. It's a natural fiber. It gathers little balls, okay, and it pills. Pill and pile, okay? Fill and file. What file are you looking to court? Okay, so my color choices here were about creating the honeycomb, and honeycomb, one whole gesture, okay? One whole gesture, and I tried polyester filling, and I tried wool, and I tried two different types of thread. I tried sulky, which is synthetic, and then I tried Gutermann's silk, which I like very much. I like working with silk. For being a person new to silk, I like working with silk. What I can say is the silk Gutermann's gets really tangled if I'm working with length. And so I did, towards the end, go back to sulky because I wanted to get this done. I didn't want to push it farther. I didn't want to push it faster than I was truly invested in. Meaning, as a seamstress, and I worked contractually and for myself, it's far more satiating to create and not unpick. Okay, unpicking and undoing your work is not really the value of sewing. Okay, so I've learned to understand when my energy is concerted and I'm invested in the now. Okay, then work it in the now. And if I'm not invested, don't do it. You know, because I don't want to be unpicking by making bad choices or just like, I don't want to get this done so I can move on to something else, but I wasn't present now, and so I still don't get to move on to something else because I get to look back on this and it's horsepucky. Okay, it's not working. It's not working as I wanted it to. Lifting something from a meta, an idea of self-conceptualization. I would like this. I like this idea. I'm going to work it. And then lifting it through the process of making decisions. Well, what are you going to work with? How are you going to do it? I've never worked with silk. Tell me about silk. What kind of silk? Okay, now threads. Positioning. Hey, I can do this. I can do that. What about this? What about creating a point of that disrupts the pattern, but lends the meta? Okay, the conceivable meta. Let's see. Back at the bottom edge, you can't see. It's frayed. Part of it. I started cutting with pinking shears, so that's zigzag. I tried to cut straight, and then I thought I would just tease out the loose threads and, you know, create fringe. And what I can see is I didn't get it exactly straight again, which is fine. So you'll see the pinking cut edge on the very edge of this, and you'll see the fringe gathering. I'm okay with it. I'm not going to turn that hem. This is how we start. And what else? Will it fall apart? Over time? Over time? I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. For my uses, this was, you know, quilting's also something that's a first time for me, and I'm not using traditional quilting techniques, you know. I've sewed each one of these on by hand. So there's a little hexagon shape in the back. I learned in process to use a surgeon's knot, which is to loop twice, and then a square knot. And for my purposes, I was not intending to wash it. It was meant to hang. It doesn't need torque for, I'm going to use it as a, you know, a blanket, you know. So, like anything else I can tell you about that? Is to put the Velcro in. The Velcro is for my, it was for my convenience. Putting it on my bed frame, on my baldacchino, Italian for canopy. If I didn't use the Velcro, I would have to take the frame apart to put it on and off. So I like the idea of Velcro. I can keep my frame intact, okay? Should I ever need to dry clean it, or, you know, should I ever need to, or I'm moving, you know, or just whatever, you know? I decided that that worked for me. What else? I'm happy about it. It makes me very happy to look at. It's, I would say it's over a year in conception. It's almost a year in sewing, because I really started getting very concerted and earnest in the sewing when I had my bunion surgery, and I would have to keep my foot up for 2 months. So I had the thought in mind, you need to do something. You need to plan to do something. Because I know me, I'm a mobile person, and this would also be a first. You're not going anywhere except right here. So, you know, have a project in mind to try and get you through this. So, all right, let's see how this works on the back, on the headboard. Double facing, that was an idea right at the very end. Again, finished that October 10th, last night. Realized that the next day, today, listening to Molly McCord on YouTube, she reads astrology. It was a 10-10 day. That's interesting. Just felt the need. Let's get this done. I think you can do it. Just a little bit off. A little difficult to put it on the back without seeing. It's alright, just have to work with it. There's a little wave right there. Let's see, anything else I should tell you? Oh, I really like that. It's a nice focus. Let's see, when I was in the art room, Duncan, I'm sure she has Libra in her chart because she likes looking at designs online of dresses and like, oh, I would do this and I would do that. I'd mix it with this, and you know, she has an aesthetic opinion, and so she's popped in every once in a while. You may have seen her on Earth Cam, and she's like, you know, how's it going? What are you doing? Tell me about this project. And so I was finishing up, and she said, you know, you could put felt on the back. You know, that's what quilters do. And I thought about that, like, yeah, you know, I could. It'd be sound dampening for its purpose, you know. In the sense that this is an apartment building and I've got people that live on either side of me, not on top because I'm on the top floor. Yes, I could. So she wanted to steer me towards proper quilting, put the felt on the back, and then I could do a zigzag stitch around each hexagon. And I thought, you know, I could do that if I made a quilt, you know, that's an option. I really do like that as a focus. My intent was not to put a backing on the silk piece itself, also, you know, so you can see through the hole that's missing. But also, like, say, in architecture, where industrial architecture, where you leave, say, the ceiling, and you could see all the pipes and heating vents and ducts. Where that's revealed, you're seeing how it works. That was my decision, to leave the back so you can see sewing every knot and hexagon shape, and to leave the construction available to view. And let's see, what else? I think that's about it. For me, I finished this last night, October 10th, went to sleep, and I thought, you know, and then I realized that I finished it on 10/10, and I'm hanging it on 10/11. So, and then that last decision, right when I got to it, was to double face the white silk on the edge. It produces like a rick-rack or a lace, as it were, and also serves the purpose of sealing any raw edges. And you know, for me, honestly, you're going to see my next video. I'm looking at news, and you know, I can spin it 10 times in thine hind, I know I can do that. I'm tired of looking at it, okay? I'm really tired of looking at it. So in a way, the double-faced silk on the edges started to occur to me that I'm ready to wrap it up, okay? Let's see. Maybe I'll put those thoughts on there. I'll give this a little pause for now and I can review my notes. While I'm meandering, I thought I'd inform you about my apartment and the things that I've made. So I made the honeycomb. This is Trapezo. Trapezo is the idea on that was to make crush-shaped containers that are nomadic, meaning you can reposition them and turn them. So the smaller portion faces you and then it flares out. But the idea of calling it a crest shape is that much like the mandorla, the almond shape of the vesica piscis, the shape of your eye, the fish bladder, when two circles overlap, okay, that portion right there. And it was that it would amplify any object you put in it. My idea for these shapes, because when I had Rick help me make them, he's like, oh, make them, half size for books. And I'm like, no, I'm not making them for books. I'm making them for plants. I want a jungle wall. Trapezo. And let's see, I made it out of MDF. After studying and visiting people in the industry, I decided this was the best way to go. To manifest my one-up, because if I used real zebra wood, it might take me forever to earn $10,000, okay? So I use MDF, multi-density fiberboard, okay? What that is sawdust and glue. And so the material cost on that is about $200 versus $10,000, okay, plus milling, okay? And ultimately, after talking to people in the industry, if I were to make a zebra wood veneer, okay, so that's a slice of zebra wood that would be glued onto MDF, because MDF is not, they use MDF a lot in making your cabinets. It doesn't warp, okay, with changes in humidity, and like wood will do. So that's Trapezo, trapezoid shapes. The shelves are trapezoid. And again, those can be flipped. You can have them the height you want, stack them, whatever. And let's see. It's going to be hard to see right now. I have a little apartment. Boomerang table. I made boomerang table with those boomerang legs. Hi, Mino. That is part of Magneto. So that asterisk is from House font, and so I've got a trio of those right outside my door, and then I sunk galvanized screws in them and neodymium magnets. So it's a magnet board, but I sunk the screws in, then faux finished. Okay, so you don't see the screws. You don't see where to stick your magnet. So neodymium is they're considered the Earth's strongest magnets. I mean, I could hang a whole notebook up on one screw. Okay, they're really strong, and So that's Magneto, my creation, right outside my door or before you enter my apartment. And let's see, what else have I done? You know about my cutting board. I'm sure you do, right? Let me show you one more time. It can conceivably have a wrong and right side. I made this on my own. It took me weeks to be able to conceptualize how to make the cuts in my head and flip them so that I go to the machine shop and have a plan, okay? Because working with, it needs to be oiled so it has a smooth surface, a nice, but you can see I actually use it. So it's maple and what is this? Shit. It's not wenge. What is that? Walnut. It's walnut, okay? Maple and walnut. And the book matched. And so I had to make 15 and 30-degree cuts and then flip them and then glue all these sides together, okay, with the end grain. The end grain is up because that's nicer on your knife, keeps your knives sharp. But you'll see on one side, there's like a little hook, and on the other side, would be probably commercially correct. You know what? There's a little knot in the walnut. It happens. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that was quite a feat for a person left alone in a machine shop. So how that worked out is Rick and his wife like to travel. They have Rick was setting up a school, and I was his first student. And they also have a B&B. And so I ran their B&B with full use of the machine shop. And I decided I was going to make a cutting board, not one where you just make a square and be like, okay. I was like, no, I'm going to do it this way. You know, and seriously, it took me weeks to just sit there and like, you cut like this and you flip it and then this color with that color and you glue it together, and it conceptually was difficult for me. I'm pretty good spatially. I wasn't always. I started my first business, which was sewing, and it was working with unitards, and then making designs in a unitard, and that was a popular thing. Actually, it wasn't a popular thing. What was popular is that sort of workout clothing was hitting the gyms. And as it was hitting the gyms, I was like, you know, you could do so much with that, okay, with that one piece, get up. And so I started working with ideas in my head. I did go to LA, Garment District, etc., and, you know, eventually set up my own business it was kind of a movement. Apparently everyone had the same idea, and you can do this with it, and you can do this with it, and you can do crisscross on the back, and you can lace it up, and so I worked my little venue. I got off track here. Where was I? I have two thoughts. One is I was left in that machine shop by myself. I broke the bandsaw. Okay, I broke equipment, and I had no one to ask, and so I had to think to myself, well, if this equipment breaks, conceivably someone fixes it. So how would I go about fixing it if I were that someone? Okay, so I followed the little knobs, and figured out how to open the casing, and followed the knobs, and like, okay, so the bandsaw should be following this, and that looks like a tension knob, and I fixed it. And I also let Rick know, hey, I broke the bandsaw and I fixed it, but I want you to check it, okay? It's not only is it the first time I'm in a machine shop by myself, but I broke it and I fixed it, okay? One of the values of being in a machine shop by myself with a project I wanted to complete is, say for instance, I wanted to sand, and I'm like, this needs a chuck. Where's the chuck? Okay, I had to go through every drawer to find the chuck. Because I wanted to change or screw, I wanted to change the bit, the size, and I'm like, but where is it? There's no one to ask. I have to go through every drawer and every compartment here and figure out, the filing system that Rick has or hasn't, meaning that I found chucks and bits in separate places. They're not all in one place, and but it was good. I'm thankful for that opportunity. I had to harness it with the right responsibility. If I cut myself, there's no one to call to for help, okay? If I hurt myself and like, don't have hands anymore, can't dial that, So, it was, you had to suffer with contingency. I know that sometimes when you're running wood through a table saw, it kicks back, okay? No one else is here, okay? So let's stay out of the kickback, okay? Cut your wood. If it kicks back, just save, get out of its trajectory. The other thought is, as we're making this transition, men -d can push back on you as women -d and illustrate. You never taught them even. You taught them defend. Okay? What else? Should I get these notes here? You could do So just review some of the notes from last class. So these are notes that I think class 113 is up, but I was thinking of putting this on the comment section. You're going to lose Roe v. Wade, okay? Because if the right by right, trig height, b rig height, trial balance, to with hood hot people were talking, you wouldn't need Roe v. Wade, okay? Det task, pass the cup, the bowl, the asked, has asked, assay is to test the metal, okay? I eat at 8, to tie the I eat yet, okay? Det assayed, des assayed, that you teat. Your pate, that is your head, okay? You're sending the time thiefend to get your bed, to get your bread in bed, okay? To prate sounds a lot like pray, all right? You're relating thiefend. My notes are out of order, but what I'm sussing is you need to pivot on to, okay? This has a number of implications. One of the implications is you as a man don't get to pay and play. On my framework, you get to do it in the open. You want to talk to her, you get to talk to me too, okay? And I don't mean to who hoard red, okay? You want to relate, you relate in the open, all right? So, for the want toffet. And innately with that 0, what I am suggesting is 0 territorial force, okay? Because women, -D, are pushing back on men, -D, okay? And they can't fix your problem, me-n-d, that you men det again, okay? So I think the pushback is starting to illustrate women, if you want a fucking value, then value it, okay? And, you know, you can write a love letter to Christine Blasey Ford, but you've never invested in my sustainability, Tirana, if I said your name right. Okay? You have to pivot on to who are red to get this in fucking print. All right? but you're never doing time, all right? By being the time, okay? By getting off the time in line. You dupe. You're duping who's going to supply suffering by thinking with contingency and follow through even too, because you're not currently doing it. You're currently re-renting stupid dish I it, okay? Thief end. You can only save stupid by making stupid, okay? That's a problem in my book, okay? Okay, the obvious flaw in this is Melania stands on money you can't touch. If you touch the me one eye, you're going to make more me one eye, okay? Because they have to process you through who EWER wed red and would redo wed red, okay? The dude would be red again, okay? NK, natural killer cell, put your value in knit. SM, sadomasochism, service mark, it means other things, look it up. Trial balance, terabyte tuberculosis. You wash it in the book, in the brook, and the boot. Toot the boot, okay? You're not making value when you go to court, okay? You're not making value when you go to court. You're making donkey. You're making donkey. The text in the hex. The hex is escort, okay? And sort. Bort, okay? Aunt, that's a beginning, okay? Ort, that's a me all. Bort, that's what you sand with, okay? Sanding, you're not shaving any, you're not shaving any value that you yourself put in pay and play, okay? Love to date, all right? So I have a note here. After watching briefly the news for whatever you singing people do for entertainment, which is basically opposite politics, for no reason thief end. Well, look, we can make a bigger ass showing, okay? Taylor Swift, okay? You're touching the you're touching the, you're passing, and you're touching it, okay? You're touching it, all right? Does it help if I do that? Add as many hyphens as you want. Et besides extraterrestrial also means and, okay? Et-tu, and you, brute, et-tu, brute? You're touching that, Taylor Swift. T-E-A-T. You're the teat, and you're also a tease. Tease, trial balance, tease the beast, okay? To ask. Yet I eat as asked, okay? To stab, bet, I be the eat at, okay? You need a little L in there too. Stable table. If he was wed red, the dude was wed red. U-H-R, ho, U-R, are the thread, okay? To tagging bag, again, bad, okay? You're touching the past to asked, all right, to build your song and dong upon thiefend. You're not mending anything. You're just giving an ass show, okay? Fort and fort, no reason, thiefend. It's pornographic, and you're making it compulsory. You yourself didn't love, and the world has never seen love happen, okay? Getting back to why you're going to lose Roe v. Wade, okay? That's in class 113. You didn't love, all right? And you didn't love, but what you do love is me one eye. That's what you love if you continue, okay? And that's what's going to be apparent, okay? That's what's going to be apparent. Just to make the news, okay? You always will have stub and subby